Good early evening to everyone. Calling to order Pacific Grove Unified School District Board of Education special meeting today, Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. As we begin this meeting, it is important to pay respect to and acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the Ohlone, Costanoan, and Esalen people, and additionally pay respect to elders, both past and present. With that, can we please have a roll call?
Absolutely. President Carolyn Swanson.
Here.
Clerk Jennifer McNary.
Here.
Dr. Elliot Hazen.
Here.
Trustee Laura Ottmar. She is absent at this time. We are waiting for her arrival. And Trustee Brian Swanson.
Here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adamson. We do have a quorum, so we will move forward with adoption of the agenda. Board, do we have any discussion on adoption of the agenda? No? Linda, did you want to make any changes, like remove info item A on the agenda?
I will go ahead and yes, request permission to go ahead and remove that. We did at one point think we were going to have one of our trustees attending remotely. And while that will be the case, it's no longer the need to have it as an emergency criteria. So yes, we can go ahead and remove that at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to go out to public comment now, and then we'll bring it back to the board to make a motion and possible further discussion. Lewis, anyone online with their hand up? Okay. Thank you. Just for the folks at home, Lewis said there's 2 people online, but no one has their hand up. And we don't have anyone here in person who's making their way up to the podium. We have a very limited amount of people here in the room as it is. So board, any further discussion on adoption of the agenda? No, I see people shaking their heads. No. Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda with the change in the agenda that Dr. Adamson recommended, which is to remove information discussion item A because it's no longer needed.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion made by Carolyn Swanson, seconded by Clerk McNary. Can we get majority vote, please?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. That is a 4-0. And since info discussion item A is no longer on the agenda, I'm going to go to info discussion item B, which I'm going to read out, and then I believe we're going to take a recess to allow just a little more time for Trustee Ottmar to arrive. So info item B is proposal to change the number of school board meetings per month. And with that, we will take a recess. And just for anyone watching at home, we will be broadcasting online until we complete the discussion of information discussion item B. When we get to information discussion item C, we'll be online as long as we possibly can, as long as we're up at the dais. But from my understanding, Dr. Adamson, do you want to chime in and just kind of let us know?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, the intention was for us to go ahead and close the online and the recording version of the meeting when we switch over to the governance portion of it, because that's a training. And really the nature of that really requires for us to really, there's going to be a lot of activities, some role playing, some partner talk and discussion. And so for that reason, because it is a special meeting, we're not required to broadcast it and live stream it or record it. And so, yes, that's the reason to allow for the presenters to really, deliver the presentation in that manner.
Thank you so much. And of course, any member of the public is welcome to join us in person. The doors are unlocked and we're happy to receive anyone who would like to come in person for that part. And so with that, it's 4:04. We'll take do I need to give minutes for the recess, or maybe just say 10-ish minute recess and allow for Trustee Ottmar to arrive? Okay, so we'll be back checking in at 4:15 regardless. Okay, thank you. We're back. It is 4:16 and we have a full board now. All 5 of us are here, which is wonderful. Linda, this is your item. It's information item B, proposal to change the number of school board meetings per month. Do you want to introduce it?
I would love to. Thank you, President Swanson.
Mhm.
So yes, in preparation and advance of our organizational meeting that we have scheduled for this Thursday, one of the items will be that will be in front of you as a board will be to identify and determine how many times a month you will need to meet for your business meetings. And so as a result of that, I thought this was the appropriate time to bring forward for discussion if you were wanting to make any changes to that. I am proposing the consideration of currently we meet the first and third Thursday of every month. During months that allows for it, that we have a reduction in the amount of business that needs to be attended to, that we consider possibly reducing that to one meeting a month. But really it's being brought forward to you as a board for just discussion currently. And then, as you know, it will be on the agenda Thursday evening for official voting. But this just gives us the opportunity to discuss in advance.
Thank you so much. So we'll go to board discussion first on it. I'm just gonna go around this way. So, Elliot, do you want to start? Any ideas?
Yeah, I'm really excited to discuss it more. I always feel if we can get more done in less time, that's better for everybody. But I also realize there's a lot of business to be done. So I'm a fan, especially if we kind of hold the other day as a special meeting opportunity when things do come up. I like the proposal. Thanks for bringing it, but would love to hear from everyone else.
Trustee Otmar?
I am in agreement with reducing the number of meetings that we have. I think that we could be more efficient with our time and that would help do that. I also think, as far as staff is concerned, having staff here twice a month, even if they're not presenting, I mean, that's a big tax on them just personally. And I think it's important that we respect their time as well as in the public's time too. It's a lot to ask of everybody, I think. So my preference is to reduce the number of meetings, and once a month sounds good to me. With, like you're saying, if we need to have a special meeting, then I think that would be appropriate.
Clerk McNary?
Thank you for bringing this to the board. I'm in support of this. If this is what admin and staff feel would give them the time and the resources to do the work they need to, then you have my full support. So thank you.
Trustee Brian Swanson?
Oh, I agree too. I think it's, for staff, absolutely. And then, but for us too, it's like, once you get into the packet and you get rolling with it, it's like, whether it's 400 pages or 600 pages or whatever, or 800 pages sometimes. But, and then reserving a spot still that if we needed a special meeting, we knew where it would be. I think it's it's worth trying, and hopefully it works for everybody.
Yeah. I love the idea. I have seen other, when I'm thinking of a city right now that does it, but I think Linda, your previous district did this as well. If I remember,
One meeting a month.
one meeting a month.
Yes.
Yeah,
we did.
so I'm confident it can work. Yeah. And I would consider, one thing that the city that I'm thinking of does is they have closed session. So like, typically we have our entire meeting on Thursday. So one, maybe baby step into it, because I think there will be a transition period. Number one, we're going to have to kind of weed out the things that are on agendas that aren't technically board decisions or require board discussion. So I think during this kind of transition period, we might want to look at having closed session on like Wednesday. So maybe we're here for an hour. We're all being able to be home to tuck in ourselves or our people that we care for, our animals we care for. And then the next night do open session. We could maybe kind of baby step that way. I really like the idea of kind of all of us kind of keeping our calendars penciled in, though, that third Thursday could be really utilized well for governance training. If we, really functional districts do governance training quarterly. We can have it also for topics that we want to deep dive into that really benefit the students, like curriculum chats, social emotional health chats. Anyways, I don't have to go on and on. Sounds like all of us can see value in this. So with that, I'll go out to the public and see if there's any public comment on this item. If you're virtual, please raise your virtual hand. We would really like to hear from you. Oh, we've got somebody, Molly.
Hi. So
Hi.
I just got the message about this meeting this morning, and then I looked over the agenda too at the office, but like I don't necessarily agree with this decision, and the reason why is because there's already a lack of communication. And so I think that reducing the ability for parents and the community to engage, like reducing the days that they can actually do that, is not a good idea, especially at a time when we've just been sent these surveys about, how are we doing? How efficient are we at communicating? And so I know that if like during the month, there's deadlines, and especially for parents to, that if you reduce the time that they can actually engage, then it's kind of disheartening to us to, to only have the 1 month opportunity, like once a month opportunity to engage. And so I think when we're promoting communication, we shouldn't reduce the time that we can actually communicate with everybody.
Thank you,
That's
Molly.
all. Mhm.
Anyone else want to contribute comments to this? We've got folks here in person. If you'd like to make your way up to the podium, please feel free. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone, but I'll just give a moment in case somebody online has a thought in their mind and they're deciding if they want to contribute. I will say, just for my own way of thinking about this, when it comes to community meetings, is that third Thursday can also be reserved for, like we had our cultural proficiency night the other night. That was the first time in my memory that I can remember the district holding a meeting like that. And so this to me would allow for more of that two-way communication, because board meetings are just board business done in public, and it's really only allows for one-way communication to absorb public comment and perhaps, bring it into our discussion, but it doesn't give us a chance to really communicate with the public two ways. So that's kind of what I was thinking with these meetings. But Dr. Adamson?
I actually love that idea and that thinking, and I think that could absolutely be our approach if we're saving that second Thursday of every month. You're absolutely right. I think the goal being, and so much of what I'm hearing from the community and from you as a board, is that yes, we want to provide more opportunities for the community to engage, and that really isn't, the board meetings themselves. While they get a chance to share with us through public comment, it's not really a two-way dialogue. And so you're absolutely right. I think we could allow for that, saving that time, and the public knowing that there's always that possibility of our being able to schedule something for that second Thursday. I love the thinking.
So I haven't closed out public comment yet, but while we wait to see if anybody else wants to say anything, board, do you have anything you want to contribute further? No? Okay. So with that, I don't see anyone's hands up or anyone at the podium. So we will close out public comment on that. And then this is an information item, so we can give direction and we don't need to vote on this. So Dr. Adamson, what would you like from us? What would be helpful?
Well, I think just knowing that there is interest from all of you, then really I would be bringing forward to Thursday's meeting a proposal of, which dates we could look at for the coming year. And if we're going to go ahead and really, vote on that, it would really require us to then, maybe change some of our language that we have. The bylaws themselves currently, and I included a copy of that, it really talks about, that we set aside the first and third meeting of every month for a board meeting. But I believe we could just make some, very minor adjustments to that. If we're still going to keep the Thursday aside for special meetings, it allows for that. But I would bring forward a proposal on that language and possible dates as well to Thursday's meeting for you to vote on.
Okay, is that agreeable to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much. So with that, we're moving on to information item C, which is board governance training and self-evaluation. And as I mentioned at the top of the meeting, we're going to stay on our microphones as long as we possibly can. However, there will be a part, because this is a board governance training, that we're going to shift to the tables that you can probably see online and be having conversations in pairs going on at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not really conducive to having microphones on. However, anyone at home who's watching who would like to come, this is absolutely a public meeting in open session. You're more than welcome to attend here in public. We have chairs and coffee and some sort of dinner coming later and desserts, and everyone is welcome to that. I think, depending on how many people. It's for the
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm making promises. Sorry, Lou.
Line forming out the door.
But I mean, a couple people, it's fine. Okay. So with that, I will, this item is also yours, Dr. Adamson. Please go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you so much, President Swanson. It's my pleasure to be opening this item up. We've been really looking forward to this. You as a board have expressed an interest in the training that we know we're anticipating this evening. It's my pleasure to have with us this evening. We have Lou Lozano from Lozano and Smith, our legal firm, and then also Eric Andrew from Leadership Associates, who you worked with, who is the lead in the superintendent search through hiring me for this position. And so they have really put together a really thorough and in-depth presentation that is not sit and get, as we've talked about a lot. We really want you engaging, and you're going to be getting up and moving around, and that opportunity for you to ask questions and really think about and digest the information that's being given. But really the goal of this being that it's a review of governance. It's a review of you as board members and the role that you play in the oversight of our district. And so, and really the role I play as superintendent, and how we engage with one another, but also with the public. And so I'm looking forward to it. It's been a pleasure working and planning for this meeting this evening with both Lou and Eric. I'm just so grateful to them for being here this evening. They bring with them so much expertise and knowledge and understanding of what this entails, and have really had great success in the work that they've done with other boards and other districts. And I just feel we're very grateful and very lucky to have them with us this evening. And so at that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to begin the training at that point. And yes, probably at this time, consider closing, and we'll be moving over to the tables. Yes.
Thank you so much for that introduction. We will just go out for public comment at this time. See if there's anyone who would like to comment, either online or in person, and we're happy to take your comments up to 3 minutes each, and then we will carry on. So I'll just give a moment if anybody would like to raise their hand. Does look like we have about 3 people online. So if any of the 3 folks online would like to raise your hand, we really would like to hear from you if you have anything you would like to comment on this item. Louis, you don't see anybody raising their hand either. Okay. So with that, thank you very much for the public. We're going to close out public comment, and we're going to launch into our training.